Morning. We're live. No panic. The person at the door has now left. So good morning, everybody. Anybody watches live and on catch up, hello. Good. What day is it? What day is it, Jade? Thursday. We're live on Marketing SOS page, group Cape Cod UK page, YouTube and website. Look, it's like we're live streaming across the whole front of Google, Jade. Not really. Yes, I'm sure you're thrilled about that. If you're on, give us a comment, say hello, tell us who you are, what you're doing on this Thursday morning. I am here with the lovely Jade Lawerence from the Birth Doula Cheshire, and we're going to talk about little babies, how they come out. Close your children's ears, everybody, if they haven't yet had how to have a baby education, or let them tune in because this is it. So hello, Jade. Good morning. Morning, Steph. Hello, lovely. You okay?
My lockdown glasses on.
Don't make me laugh.
I might have to mention the word vagina.
Oh, well, you got it out the way now. It's gone. Do you ever use any other words for vagina, or do you keep it quite clinical? No.
No.
With your client?
To a woman about her moo-moo or her flower.
I was actually going more down. I was going down other words. So yeah, that's a whole other. That's a good point. Well, there's more words than woo-woo and flower.
What? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how your mind works, Kate.
You do. That's the problem. Anyway, the Birth Doula Cheshire. Right. What is that? Who are you? Who are you? Let's start with who are you, Jade? Who are you? What do you do? Who are you?
I'm a birth doula, and I used to work in London as a doula, and now I work in Cheshire. And as a doula, I support women through pregnancy and birth. We do antenatal education.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do we do?
Well, what is a doula? Because I think there's probably loads of people out here, and I didn't know what a doula was until I met you, who don't know what a doula is, who've had babies or are pregnant and are like, what's a doula? So what is a doula, and why would somebody need one or want one?
To prepare you for birth in the best possible way. So we provide information, unbiased and personalised information, evidence-based information, so you can make better choices for your birth. We do antenatal education. I do hypnobirthing, and basically we're your PA for everything birth.
Oh, quite like that. So usually when you have, or rather I would say kind of the mainstream path that the majority of people go on will be get pregnant, go to the GP, go and have your hospital checkups. You'll see a midwife a couple of times. I think this happens, and then you go in and you might go to the NHS antenatal classes. You might go to something called like NCT classes, National Childbirth Trust, yeah. So how do you fit into that then? Are you an and or an or as a doula?
Both. So you can do all, and you can have a doula. So for us, what we do and why we're important is the continuity of care, having the same person to care for you throughout. Plus, having another woman, particularly a woman who's already given birth, with you throughout labour and birth is really makes a really positive difference. And it's actually been scientifically proven that having a doula above your partner, family, friend, midwife, health professional, you're more likely to have a better outcome for birth. So you're less likely to have an epidural, you're less likely to have cesarean.
Right.
It's like 50%. And you're less likely to want pain relief, all that kind of stuff.
Because you're more educated, because you're more relaxed, because you've got a consistent voice and someone to talk to about things. Do
There's
most
a few
of your
things that are happening. It's because we're educated and trained in supporting women in birth, but also it doesn't mean we replace your birth partner, because your partner knows about you and we know about birth.
I mean, does he? I feel a bit like, honestly, with Poppy, looking back now, I think if I could do that again, I would just say to Sam, it's okay. He would want to be with me, or like, you just stay there and stop rubbing my back. Stop it. You think it's nice. It's doing my head in. So you say there, Jade and I are going to go and have a baby. Goodbye. See you in 24 hours. So do you have clients who do that? Do you have clients who actually stick with you and kind of their families are more variable, or is it always there's always a partner in some sense with them?
No, I do what I do. I work with the partner. So in labour we work together. So I work with a partner beforehand. I give them a step-by-step guide about what to expect, how, what to say, what not to say.
Get on me.
And what to do, and how to recognise what stage of labour she's in, and to change your mood to how she's feeling, and that kind of thing, and practical things they can do, and that kind of thing. So we're already on the same page, working together as a team beforehand. So
yeah. Are you there? I had Poppy. I went into hospital with Poppy at 1 o'clock, came home again, went in again at 3:30, then had her at 7. Would you be there? Do your clients ring you middle of the night? Are you on call, so to speak?
Yeah, the last one was 4 a.m, and but what I would have done for you, so you would call me, you say, oh, I think I'll get contractions. So I would come over, assess the situation, see how you're feeling, make sure you're comfortable, make sure you've got your birth environment and your nest all lovely and what have you.
Yeah.
And then I would stay with you, and I would let you know when the best time to go to the hospital would be. So
yeah,
just by observing you, and I would have already taught your partner when would the best time to go to the hospital would be. And then so you don't have that back and forth. That ideally we want you to stay at home as long as possible.
Yeah.
And then if you want to have the baby in hospital, you go to the hospital, pop the baby out, and then return home.
Do you go to people have babies? Are people still having babies at home?
Yeah.
Like, you go into people's homes and the birthing pool. You only have a baby in a birthing pool at home?
Yeah. The last home birth I did was just at the start of lockdown. And
right.
So I got called at 4 a.m, went over to Shrewsbury, it's about an hour away from me because I'm in Nantwich. And she was very happy, bouncing on the ball. After about half an hour, she got into her second baby. She got into the pool and literally just breathed through the whole thing. And out popped a 10-pound baby a couple of hours later.
No.
Well, less than a couple of hours later, yeah.
Oh,
and
so what's the best thing for you then? Why do you enjoy being a doula?
Why do I enjoy being? Oh, that's a big question. I enjoy being a doula because I love giving the support. I love using my knowledge to create, you can really see them change, and when they start to learn about stuff and say, okay, yeah, I can do this, teaching them how to trust in their body, and their body knows what is really important, so important. And that magical moment, just as they're about to become parents sometimes for the first time, which is about to become a mother again, is really amazing. And just the whole thing, just supporting them and just making them the experience really good. And nobody has a bad experience on my watch.
I love it. I love
It's not going to happen.
Stephanie has commented. Stephanie's in South Africa. This is a fabulous service. Stephanie, do they have this in South Africa? Jade, a doula's global. Is doula a global?
Yeah,
A doula's a global thing.
Yeah, in America, because you have to give birth under an obstetrician and you have nurses, not midwives, in the hospitals.
Right.
You have to go to a midwife-led unit to give birth with a midwife. It's all to do with insurance and everything. And so instead you have doulas. You hire a doula to go into the hospital with you. So
right, okay.
In America, but yeah, it's global.
Yeah, and I guess it's quite an old. All my children that I gave birth to are just entering the room. One of them with her own naked baby, actually, by the looks of things. And I guess it's a doula is quite an old school thing, isn't it? It's through history, you know, women have supported women to have birth,
and down from woman to woman about birth, the secrets of birth, you know, how to cope with contractions, all that kind of thing. And that's the other, you know, magic of doulaing. It's, you know, when you're in a room with a woman and you're supporting a woman, something, you know, there's an energy, a kind of magic that happens between you. And you know, that's really important. And so we've lost that art of passing this down from woman to woman. And these days women learn about birth from the media, for One Born Every Minute, which is the worst program ever. And you know, birth is traumatic and scary, and there's a huge fear of birth.
And actually I was much more fearful, I think, the second time round. I'm sure you'll kind of comment on this, but first time with Annabelle went really smoothly. I was high dependency or high consultancy led or whatever it's called. Anyway, but went really smoothly in the water, all the gas now relaxed. And then with Poppy, I felt anxious. I know I felt more anxious the second time round. And who knows what that's produced, but there's definitely, you know, I wonder if there's a correlation there. But the birth in itself was much more still natural, but Jesus, not fun. And actually having so are your clients, you know, you think about your ideal customer, the people that come to you, are they on second births, are they on first births, are they more anxious, are they quite nervous, you know, have they got a wider support structure? Because first time round with Belle, I was take it in my stride, no question, all relaxed, didn't know. Yeah, made a birth plan. We're quite well informed. Went to NCT. We're quite conscious of our choices, and I know when you and I have talked about this, quite conscious of what our options were, and that this is not something forced upon you. You have choices, but probably, and our nest was not ready. Our nest, we moved into our nest 12 hours before Belle was born. We had no carpet, no bathroom, no nothing. So yeah, the nest. If you'd have come round and been my nest for me, that would have been nice. But I wonder if your clients are they, you know, what's the emotional reasons why a client gets a doula? You know, what are the things that makes them go, I need a doula?
Because they're scared. And sometimes they've been told they're high risk. Sometimes they've been told you know, all sorts of scary stuff from family and friends and what have you, and what they've seen on One Born Every Minute. And some people just, you know, they get pregnant and all of a sudden maternity services, they haven't got a clue. They've never had any exposure to maternity services before. You know, there's all this information. It's really overwhelming. They don't know, you know, what an epidural is or an episiotomy, or do they need these things, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, we basically hold people's hands and help them through the whole process.
Because it is a massive step, isn't it? Actually, when you think about it like that, you are put into, I remember the paperwork, we were moving house at the time, the paperwork and the expectation of knowledge, you just don't know, and you are figuring it out. You have to kind of make it up and figure it out for yourself. So you're working with clients from the beginning. You know, when do they come to you? What point in their pregnancy do they say, actually, I need to do it?
For me, I normally book people in from 26 weeks. So this is when they start to really focus on the birth and their baby
Right.
thing. So yes, really start to think about things. So yeah,
And talk to me about hypnobirth. Oh, go on.
Oh yeah, so I start to do the antenatal sessions and everything. Yeah, hypnobirthing is great. Hypnobirthing, I like to explain it really in basic terms. It's based on scientific fact, where you breathe, you relax, like meditation, and your muscles will relax. Therefore, your uterus will relax. You're working with your muscles in your body to relax, which will cause, if you've got less tension in your muscles and in your uterus, you're going to feel less pain. Plus, we use scripts and visualizations to create, nice scenarios in your head about your baby, or a nice beach scene or forest or whatever. And so it's a little bit of what they might do in with a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
And also a bit of meditation, relaxation, and we also teach about how your birth environment is really, really important. And it's all about teaching about the fight or flight syndrome. So, and oxytocin and adrenaline, and how that works. Oxytocin is really important in pregnancy, labour, birth. And it's the love hormone. It's a very shy hormone, and you need it lots to get contractions going, to keep contractions going and sustain them. And also it's really important with feeding your baby and the placenta, and feeding your baby. So all these women who are eating curries and bouncing on balls and doing all kinds of things to induce labor, unless that is going to produce oxytocin, that's not going to work. So
Okay. So we dispel, so you as a doula, I guess, dispel some of the myths, when people say to you, I've watched one every minute, I've got a ball, I'm eating pineapple, I'm having a curry, I've been told to, there's a child in the background, I've been told to do it, an hour before, a few hours before, a day before, whatever, as soon as I'm due, whatever. You dispel some of those myths and work with the lady, to work with the partner and the lady to look at what's going to work. And that, as you say, that's science. I've not heard the word oxytocin for years. That does remind me of breastfeeding, actually, talking about oxytocin. So how do clients work with you then? How does it, talk us through the process of how it works? Is it one-to-one? Is it group classes? Is it online? What happens?
One-to-one. So basically, I just had a lady book me who I haven't yet met. And so they will have an initial consultation. At the moment, that's by phone or FaceTime.
Yeah.
And and then they'll decide whether they want to go ahead and book me. They will book me, and then from 26 weeks, we will start antenatal sessions, hypnobirth if they want that, and start preparing them for the birth that what they want, because we as doulas will support you whatever birth you want, whether you want a highly medicalized birth or one in a field next to a baby. So whatever you want, we will tell you the pros and cons of whatever you want within that.
And I guess part of that is you helping educate the couple on the types and the choices, and actually opening their mind to what could be. And I remember when we were told when it was the NHS session, we were told about that injection in your thigh that you have when you've just given birth, to speed up the birth of the placenta and to help the blood contract or something like that, to stop you from bleeding.
Yeah.
And I remember Sam saying, no, we don't want to have that injection just yet, because we want the more iron in the blood and all that. And I remember really clearly Sam saying, no, our birth plan says, no, we're not going to do that. And I'm like, I'm in this pool for another 25 minutes. But we were told about that. And it was only through speaking to people and actually in our NCT classes that we learned that that's a choice, not a instruction and such.
Yeah, everything's a choice. So, if you think about it this way, 97% of healthy women having a healthy pregnancy can have a normal, straightforward birth without any intervention whatsoever. But
Yeah.
in the UK, only 30% of them do. That's not because of women's bodies are failing them or they don't know how to give birth. That's a reflection on our maternity services who don't support normal physiological birth. Midwives aren't trained in normal physiological birth. They're trained in medical management of birth. And it's very unusual for them to see a normal, straightforward birth, because as soon as you step inside that hospital and you start, they'll say to you, okay, you've been here for so many hours now and you're not progressing, so we're going to give you something to speed things up.
Yeah.
And then you are on the clock.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then once it's called a cascade of intervention. Once you have one, you're going to have another. And even though birth has become so medicalized, the statistics of women dying in birth is growing. And that's because they're interfering with birth. The birth is safer when it's supported to be more physiological. Obviously, you know, we need the medical bits, you know, save women's lives, save babies' lives, and that's what it's there for. But you know, you don't always need all these interventions. For example, they offer sweeps to women from 38 weeks. You don't need a sweep. You know, I assume everybody knows what a sweep is.
Yeah, well, let's go with it. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, to start labour off. You don't need to have that, and that's an intervention. That's an interference. That's going to mess up the whole natural process of your labour and birth. And then once you've had that, you're on the clock, and then you'll have some sort of induction, and it just goes from there.
Yeah.
And you know, you're seeing one born every minute. They're flat on their backs. They can't move around because they're strapped to the monitor. The baby's not going to be able to move down the birth canal to get into the proper position for birth. And before you know it, they're either whisked off to theatre or having the baby yanked out and, you know, cut without even being asked. You know, and so
I reckon, Jade, and I'm not going to ask you your opinion on one born every minute because I don't think I need to. And we're going to instead, we're going to move on to how does somebody get in touch with you? Because I want to put your contact details on the screen before I sneeze. How does someone get in touch with you? Where can they find you? Give me your website.
www.thebirthdoulacheshire.co.uk.
thebirthdoulacheshire.co.uk. Yeah. And Birth Doula Cheshire on Facebook.
Yeah. And Instagram.
So if somebody knows of a lady who's pregnant and is maybe, actually I was going to say is maybe feeling a bit anxious, but actually is just up for having a conversation about, you know, he wants to explore and consider the alternatives, and he's up for having a conversation about their labour and maybe they're on the second child and what happened. Because I think in hindsight, I would have really benefited from a doula with Poppy, second child. That I presume they can just have a chat with you and just explore some options with you in terms of how you could support them and then make a decision from there.
Yeah, definitely. And I also do a package where we can just have those chats. It's like having just the antenatal session. So you don't have to have the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And so basically I've got 3 different packages. But shall I run through some top tips?
Yes, please.
Pregnant, would that be helpful?
Yes, it would.
So in pregnancy, inform yourself about everything you need to know. You know, anything, any interventions, if you've been told you're high risk, you know, have a Google, see what it all says and everything, reputable sources. You can go to NICE guidelines, which are really good. Also there's birthrights, AIMS, they'll give you all that kind of unbiased evidence-based information. Look into hypnobirthing, sign up for some hypnobirthing classes, yoga and spinning spinningbabies.co.uk. No, that's wrong.com. spinningbabies.com. Is really, really important. Getting your baby into the right position for birth is really important. And if you don't do anything, if you don't do yoga or anything like that, or spinning babies, scrub the kitchen floor, because that will do it. Okay. But avoid a sweep. Don't be doing that. Just don't
No
be doing
sweets.
that. I know what it's like. I've been pregnant and given birth 5 times. I know what it's like. Get to the end of the pregnancy, you want this baby out, and anything to get the baby out, you're so tired, you're like, oh, I just want to sleep. You're not going to get any sleep when you have that baby, so be pregnant, have the sleep. Okay, prepare your nest. Keep the room dark in the last month of pregnancy. Melatonin encourages oxytocin. So you have some women who will go into labor at night. They'll try to go to sleep and thinking, yeah, in the morning I'll be in, full-blown labor. They wake up nothing because of the melatonin. If you keep the room dark, like mammals, they retreat to a dark, safe, warm place.
Yes.
And that's what you're trying to create in a birth environment. Anything that might be perceived as a predator, try and get rid of if you've got any worries, because we are mammals. So in our dark, safe, warm, comfortable place, birth environment. And I think I said to you before, when you think about your ideal birth environment and how that is, it might be nice twinkly lights, soft music, nice smells, that kind of thing. That is instinct. That's coming from your instinctive brain. It's not anything you've seen on the internet or pulled from a magazine. Right. So tap into that instinct, create your nest, and get rid of any predators, things like bright lights in the hospital room, midwives coming in and out, talking directly to you. That's going from your primitive brain to your analytical brain, making you think, and you need to get back into that primitive brain. So you need to avoid all that. And your mind doesn't recognize what is a real danger or perceived danger. So anything that is a danger to you, a predator, like with a mammal, labor will slow down and stop. So it could be anything like a bright light or a midwife talking to you directly. So yeah, that's really important. Natural induction is relax, do fun things, anything that's going to increase love hormone, oxytocin. And I always say great sex.
Oh, great. Okay.
It has to be great.
It has to be great, though. That's often a challenge. That's a challenge.
Yeah. No pressures for partners, but great sex. In early labor, when you go for a wee, sit on the toilet for a little bit longer. It relax your sphincter muscles and will give you a boost of oxytocin.
I remember that sitting on the toilet for a bit longer. I must have learned that, or someone told me. Oh, I just couldn't get up. Could have been that.
Early labor, rest, sleep, eat, hydrate. You're going to be excited. All these contractions are happening and everything, but don't do it. Sit, relax, eat, hydrate. You're going to need your energy for later on. Listen to your body. If you do want to go out for a walk, go for a walk, but make sure you nap. In active labor, breathe. Just breathe. On your breath and breathe. And if in doubt, you start to panic, breathe out. The in-breath will take care of itself. Use visualizations, good memories. When you're breathing, think about what your body and your baby's doing. Keep mobile, use music, dance, and keep the room dark. Cover the clock so you can't see the time.
This is basically my ideal Friday night. No one talking to me, dancing in the dark, twinkly lights, and eating.
But there's no alcohol.
No gin, no.
But you can have it since baby's born.
Yeah.
So So if you kept a bottle of gin, Kate, things might have progressed quicker.
Yeah, if I was where I am now.
Yeah, so try and avoid having vaginal examinations. Your cervix is not a crystal ball. It cannot tell you what the future will hold. When they do a vaginal examination, that is just that snapshot in time. It's like taking a
Yeah.
photograph. So you know, you can go from 2 centimeters, 10 centimeters really, really quickly, or could take a long time. It's just, you know, dependent on your body. But if you are in hospital, you will be on a clock and they will start offering you stuff.
Yeah.
And so when they offer you stuff, we use the brain analogy. So I don't know if that's the right word, but anyway, brain. So you ask, what are the benefits of having this intervention if they're offering oxytocin or whatever, or breaking your waters? What are the risks? What are, it's going to go straight out of my head,
benefits,
alternatives?
Nice. Yeah.
What is your intuition telling you? And what if we do nothing? So you ask those questions, brain, and smile when you're asking these things. And you can ask these things in antenatal questions, antenatally as well. It's a way of asking questions to health professionals. And if you use that, then you'll get all the information you need. But you shouldn't be asking this stuff in labour. That'll be your partner to do. So we every hour, because your bladder will stop you contracting,
Hourly
rate, and really important when you're in transition, your uterus will go from pulling open to pushing down. And you'll feel the top of your fundus, it will build up as it's pulling open the cervix.
Oh yeah.
The top of your fundus, there'll be a lump of muscle. Sorry, my laptop's falling. A lump of muscle. So, you know, and the higher that gets, the more dilated you are.
This is why. So my husband has been saying, should we have another baby? And at the beginning of lockdown, I was a bit like, yeah, okay. Like, having never said yes. And he was like, and this is just reminding me why the answer is no. I know, but I still have to do it myself. You can't do it for me. That's a whole other business model.
But yeah, so in transition, that's the bit where you go, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. It's not happening. Get my coat. I want to go home. So, yeah. So you may feel sick or shaky, and if that's completely normal, it's your body having a burst of adrenaline, and just know that's completely normal, and your baby will be here soon. Try to avoid direct pushing from the midwife. Try and breathe your baby out and listen to your body.
That's basically advice for dealing with my children now. Then breathe out and listen to my body.
And if you didn't push at all, your body will push your baby out. It's a fetal ejection reflex anyway. So if you're upright when you give birth, not flat on your back, your pelvis will open up 30% more. So, you know, if you're told you're having a big baby, you want to be upright. But just a point on big babies, late scans are 99.5% inaccurate. And, you know, there's a lot of things you can do if you're told you're having a big baby to avoid having a cesarean. Cesarean's not always necessary. And then after your baby's born, keep your baby skin to skin. It's like magic.
It was.
Baby can hear your heartbeat, and it's like home to
reenact it with a teddy.
So yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I
love being a doula because I get to talk incessantly about my favourite subject, babies.
I thought you were going to say vaginas, so I'm glad you didn't say that. Vaginas. Right, so now we've got lots of top tips. Don't do this with your baby either. That's illegal and morally wrong. Lots of top tips for what to do if you are pregnant, why you would and should have a doula, how to breathe through it. I love the fact that if you didn't push, it's going to come out anyway. So don't have too much of a panic about it. It's like, that's a really good point. Oh yeah, right. It has to get out. It has to. It can't. Your history has told us it ain't staying in there. So. Right, so I'm going to put your website up on the screen, Jade. Thank you so much. The birthdoula.Cheshire.co.uk. Thank you so much for that. That was super useful. And both made me feel full of oxytocin and love for my children. I've got to go do some homeschooling for 20 minutes. And also pleasantly reminded me why I'm not having any more children. So it's healthy, balanced.
That wasn't the idea.
I know, but... so thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching, and your comments. If you watch on replay, please put #replay. And yeah, I will see you soon.
Okay,
thanks, Jade. Bye.